The Indiana faithful has seen its share of highs and lows this season. Now with the playoffs rapidly approaching, Miller and company have reeled off 3 straight victories as they hope to ride this winning wave to the big dance. Tonight they head south to the arena, the house that Shaq built. In the last Magic Pacer meeting, Penny Hardaway led the charge, and Dennis Scott hit the buzzer beater for the win. Do the Pacers stand a prayer? Along with Shaquille O'Neal, Hubie Brown, Craig Sager, Reggie Miller, this is Bob Neal in the Arena in Orlando. A rivalry's really developed between these two teams as Reggie stretches it out here. Orlando and Indiana. The first year Orlando made the playoffs, Indiana was the team that took them out. Last year, in the 7th game of the Eastern Conference Finals, it was Orlando beating Indiana. Orlando has already clinched the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference behind Chicago and right now ahead of Indiana. So they come into this game short-handed. Horace Grant is suspended for this game for the fight with Danny Ferry at Cleveland the other night. And John Koncak has a sore Achilles tendon, so the Orlando Magic will be weak up front, and they've already clinched their spot, Hubie, which leads me to ask, what do you do to get this team ready to play in this situation tonight?
Well, I think you do your goals, and what they're trying to do right now is to have a winning record on the road since the All-Star game. They're 12-3, and they've won 21 games, so they accomplished that. Next goal was 57 wins. If they win this evening, they match that, and that's a franchise first. Then they would like to get the 60 wins, the magic number. Now, this evening, they'll play Donald Royal at the small forward position, move Dennis Scott to power forward. Now, when they do this, they're very small. They only have Joe Wolf, a quality sub, to come at power forward or center. So Shaq must stay out of foul trouble. This is a ball club now that will come down the floor, pressure defense, and try to get scramble Indiana offense.
And Indiana's playing well. They've won their last 3 games in a row in the 3rd seed in the East. They've won 47 all year. But interestingly enough, despite those numbers, many of the fans in Indiana feel like it's been somewhat of a disappointing year.
Well, you know what it is, Bob? It's high expectations. Last year, 52 wins. This year, they might achieve that. But it's a fine line because this team goes the way of the post-up people. With their front 4, when you say McKee, Smits, and the Davis boys, you're talking about 4 guys who cause a lot of trouble. Unfortunately, though, only 2 of them can post up. All year, they've had Rick Smits missing 18 games with foot problems. Then you have Derek McKee with the bad wrist. He's played 2 months without missing any games, but has only been able to play the games and not practice. So there is a fine line from achieving. In order for the perimeter game to go, then what you need is an inside game. They are now healthy. Eddie Johnson's back. Let's see what happens.
And the inside game starts with Rick Smits, the Dutchman in the paint, and he'll be matched up with Shaquille.
Well, you can see Smits 18 games and then O'Neal 28. Then the minutes 30 to 36. That's a big difference. The points are there for both guys and the rebounding. Tonight, Rick Smits must do it. He must put a lot of pressure on Shaq, and Shaq has got to stay out of foul trouble.
And so does Rick Smits. Larry Brown said sometimes Rick gets in foul trouble at the warm-up. I'll be back here in just a moment. But after these spots, we will join Ernie Johnson Jr. in Atlanta. Low humidity, 80 degrees, blue skies. Kind of a rough day here in Orlando today. There's the Arena, packed house as usual for the Eastern Conference champion Orlando Magic and the Indiana Pacers. Hubie, let's have a look at the starting matchups in tonight's ballgame.
Well, you can see for Orlando, Royal will match up at the small forward position, and Scott will play power forward. That right tonight is going to be the key. Can they rebound with this front line of Indiana?
You see Royal starting. That means Horace Grant's not playing. But, Craig, this team has done well when they've been shorthanded up front before.
Well, Bob, back in November when Orlando played without Shaquille O'Neal, they had their best month in history, and Penny Hardaway was named Player of the Month. But without without Horace Grant, as they will be tonight, they're just 10-8. And I asked Penny why Grant is so important to his game.
Because he's a terrific rebounder, a great defender. Not saying Shaquille is in the same way, but Horace doesn't post up a lot. You know, when I get double team, Horace makes that free throw line jump shot, which helps us out a lot. That gives us 20 to 22 points a night with him when Shaquille is out because he has to shoot the ball more. And then defensively, we don't have to double in the post because Horace is a great defender.
Well, without Horace Grant, you'd expect John Konkak against this big front line of Indiana, but he is out with an injury, so Donald Royal, who's only started a half dozen games all year, has a big job in front of him tonight.
All right, Craig Sager will be joining you for your scintillating reports throughout the ball game tonight. Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson looks like he's in great shape, Hubie. He's playing really well at the point for Indiana.
Well, you know, he's a pure point guard. He understands what a point guard has to do in regards to getting the ball to people when they're open, coming off screens. It's a lost art in our game today, Bob. Plus, on the open floor, he can not only make the pass in traffic, but he can finish the play.
Shaquille O'Neal missed 2 games attending the funeral of his grandmother. Came in late for the game on the weekend. Some controversy surrounding that, but Shaquille is back. We understand there's been no fine for his coming back. Communication mix-up is what the club called it. And Shaquille is back, and he's playing, and everybody's on this team tonight, with the exception of their 2 power forwards, Horace Grant and John Konkak. It'll be interesting because this is one of the toughest front lines in the game in Indiana. Shaquille with the drive and the miss. Rick Smits taller even than Shaquille.
I like that strategy because they're going right at Smits and they're going to try to get him in early foul trouble.
Mark Jackson, Indiana posting up. This is Derek McKee's turnaround over Nick Anderson. That's a tough matchup for Nick Anderson. McKee, the long arms. McKee, however, inconsistent. You never know when he's going to have a big game or a slow game. Shaquille going to take it right at Rick Smits again.
Rick Smits lacks lateral movement. So anytime that you take him off the dribble up high or you use a reverse spin move, you're going to be open. Plus, when Shaq catches him on his shoulder, it's like this building moving.
As we just saw. Smits at 7'4", Shaquille at 7'1". And to Smits, good offensive player down in the paint. It's tied at 2, just beating the buzzer.
Well, Rick Smits every year shoots over 53%. And when you look at the 7'4" frame, he has really blossomed as a great primetime scorer.
Whistle from Mike Mathis. Illegal defense is the call.
Now keep an eye on Shaquille as he runs his spin move. See, he catches them. As he drop steps, it's all over. Now you would say, well, Smith should have drop stepped himself and gone up and shot, blocked a shot. Well, that's easier said than done.
That's what Bill Russell would have done. Yeah. Penny Hardaway hits the 3.
Main thing this evening to watch is how often Indiana will double team Shaq.
Davis, without his man Royal, was late getting back, and Dale just stepped up in there about 12 feet and hit the jumper, and we have a 5-4 game, 10-12 to go, first period.
Dale Davis shoots 57%. Every year he's in the top 10 in the league. The big thing, though, is can he do it night in and night out?
There's Smits, first personal. 3 times Shaquille has gone to the rack. One of the times, Smits fouls him.
Now
Jack
just
scored twice.
Now this is the 3rd time no double team. See, they're telling Smits, look, you have got to handle him yourself. And then we will adjust as this game goes on. At that rate, as we're watching, he might get 50 by halftime. Okay? Let's see what happens here.
I'm just guessing we're going to see a double team pretty quickly. 7-4, Orlando, 9:58 to go, first period. Smits going right back to Shaquille. The jump hook doesn't fall. Nick Anderson rebounds to Penny Hardaway. Donald Royal, he does add speed, replacing Horace Grant, and draws the foul with a lay-in. It's 9 and could shortly be 10 for Orlando.
Now, Donald Royal, this is his 7th start of the season. He got off to a rocky start early in the year because he had bone spurs taken out of his foot. And that happened in November. But you can see there, he fills the lane. He's 6'8". He's a slasher, and he has the ability to get to the foul line.
Might see Joe Wolf playing some of the middle more than Brian Hill would want to tonight as you look at Larry Brown and his coaching staff. Hurd on Larry's left. Inside. Dale Davis. 3 seconds.
Oh, my. Tough ball. You know, you're Larry Brown right now, and think about this a second. Reggie Miller, all-star player, all-NBA, 2nd or 3rd team every year. They have not run a play for him yet, and we have played almost 3 minutes. They've gone to their frontline people. The frontline people must answer the bell here because it will open up the outside game.
Bad pass from Nick Anderson looking for Penny Hardaway in the post. You'll see him posting a lot. And Indiana down 9-4 with the ball. Mark Jackson. There's Brian Hill, who's got the same kind of problems any coach would love to have. He has to manage a team loaded with some superstars. Miller on the penetration. Superstar. Green team Miller misses his first shot attempt of the night.
I'm impressed early. So far, no second shot attempts for Indiana.
How about that hook pass all the way across court from Dennis Scott to Nick Anderson, but Nick comes out shooting the ball flat. Still 9-4. Posting Smits.
Pretty
good move.
Oh, yeah. You know, both of these young fellas have really developed great moves to the basket.
Right back to Shaq. He jammed hard into Smits. Misses the turnaround shot out of bounds. It's going to be Orlando ball.
When most big guys hit you in the chest with the ball, like right there, the guy doesn't move. Now, this is just a beautiful drop step moving in and up and under, coming underneath him. But when Shaq bumps you in the chest, you automatically move back at least 3 feet.
We're about to see it right here.
Again.
There's the jump hook. Not this time. Rebound Reggie Miller. 9-6 Magic. 8:12 to go, first period. Miller hasn't scored yet. Pull up by Derek McKee. Donald Royal. 3-on-3. Hardaway. Scott spotting up. He's fouled with the hand check.
Yeah, they're not going to allow you to do that. You got to keep your hands off. If you put your forearm on the man, it's fine. No call. As soon as you put your hands up, automatic. Larry Brown said their #1 commitment tonight is transition defense. Get to the perimeter, guys. No three-point shots in transition.
Reggie Miller punched it away.
Look
Play
up
by Reggie defensively.
Look up.
The lead pass from Mark Jackson just out of his reach.
You know, Bob, passing the ball to a guy who's on the same plane is very difficult because it's hard to judge his speed. What you like to do is have an angle anytime that you're throwing a long pass.
Jeff George was telling me that about football.
Well, that's true. It's very important in football.
Nick Anderson couldn't control it. Shaquille grabs it, follows his own miss, and Shaquille is active early. 6 points for Shaquille. 11-6 Orlando.
I think you should go over there and tell somebody to block that guy out. Okay. Don't you love it when they say, oh, he didn't put his body on that guy?
Get a body on Shaquille. That's blocked. Donald Royal got a piece of that. Dennis Scott's going to post up Royal, who hits Anderson for the 3. Pacers running. McKee's down quickly. Miller wanted that 3. He's going to take, even though Hardaway was in his face, that's a triple for Reggie.
No dribble. All he did was put the foot out, bring it back, got his balance, and launched that shot without a bounce.
You love watching him shoot.
Oh, he's just spectacular. He makes bad shots look easy.
I don't think he's certainly not as good looking or as smart as his sister. But then he doesn't work with us either, so I'm a little prejudiced there.
Well, the big fella's getting on the offensive glass right now. That's his second offensive rebound score.
8 points for O'Neal. Hardaway has a triple, and Royal has 2, and that's all of the scoring for Orlando. 13-9 with 6:20 to go in the first period. We'll be back to the arena in just a moment, and O'Neal has already attempted to be 8 shots.
We'd like to show you what we mean by a same plane pass. Right now, you can see the defender is between the passer, Jackson, and Reggie Miller. Now, if he were out here at an angle, you could make that pass, or if he was out here. But what you have to do here is judge the speed of the man. And the defender doesn't even have to be close to that guy. Now, just keep an eye on Shaq as he's backing Smits down. Smits goes to help out. Once again, the big fella's on the glass, and you say, hey, small forward, get in there and put your body on Shaq. All right?
Rick Smits, as I said, is 7'4" and weighs 265, and he's muscular. He is not a skinny man like when he came out of college, but you're looking at him against a Shaquille O'Neal who's at about 320. And no body fat.
Now, they keep coming across on the baseline, and that's really nice.
Dale Davis.
Now they continue to screen across on the baseline for either McKee or Dale Davis coming across. And right now they're catching Orlando switching, and they're making him pay the price.
Miller went for the steal. Anderson got it blocked by Smits.
Ooh, 4 on 3.
We said that in stereo. Dale Davis.
Nice.
And the foul.
Dale Davis is making himself big here in this first quarter. They're rewarding him by running hard, and also they're rewarding him in the half-court sets. Now just keep an eye. This is just a nice drop-off pass, and he's going to send it home. He's like an unsung guy here. He's an excellent defensive board man, a very good defender. He's a horrendous foul shooter. He always shoots 55, 58% from the floor. Unfortunately, he's in the low 50s career foul line shooter.
6 points, 4 rebounds already for Dale.
He's a worker. He's really the lunch pail guy. I mean, if you had his picture on the lunch pail, everything would be fine. Everyone in the NBA would know exactly what you mean.
Look at Shaquille.
Ooh, and again.
And kept it alive for Anderson. To Hardaway to Scott for the 3. A lot of firepower here. Dale Davis with his 5th rebound. Dennis Scott picks it away. The intended pass for Derek McKee. 15 on the shot clock. 5:12 to go in the quarter.
You know, when a man cuts to the basket on the left side of the floor, it's so difficult to throw the ball around your man with your right hand. If you give him a baseline bounce pass, McKee had a potential layup.
McKee defended by Donald Royal into Smits. Close to the jumper. Not falling tonight so far.
Good hustle.
Smits only 4 points. Kept alive. Here's Shaquille, open court dribble. Look at his talent handling the ball. Look out. Out of there. He gets 2.5 points for that, even though it came back out.
See, Indiana keeps coming at you. They're going to keep pushing the break. Nice pass.
That was Mark Jackson who missed. Rebound is missed. Had the no-look to Dale Davis, and the Indiana Pacers have taken the lead 15-13.
Oh, they'll continue to push, and Mark Jackson is just great because he'll always give it up.
Penny fouled back at the free throw line. This is pretty no-look.
Yeah, now watch as he comes in here. Now this rebound will bang out long and over the head. He sees his man. The old story, you love guys who can see the entire floor, and Mark Jackson is one of the point guards. But then you also must be unselfish, and he is unselfish.
You notice there in the back of the neck of Mark when he was walking through there, that's where he has right there, that's his third eye.
Oh.
You didn't know.
Are you stretching or what? Huh?
Everybody's growing. QB's growing.
Yeah.
Control room's growing.
Right now we have Orlando down the floor, but not a zone press. It's a matchup man-to-man.
Miller misses. Good hustle by Anderson, but it will belong to Indiana. 3-shot clock.
Indiana must continue to punish Orlando down inside, taking advantage at the small forward and power forward, the lack of defense.
First year Orlando made the playoffs. Indiana took them out 3-0. But last year, these are the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 7, Orlando wins this game. Penny, who averaged nearly 20 points and 7 assists for the series. Shaq had 27 and 9 rebounds. And Orlando clobbered Indiana here at the Arena to move into the NBA Finals. And here's what the East looks like as of today.
Well, you look now, Indiana 3 games on the loss side ahead of New York. But from New York to Cleveland to Detroit and Atlanta, only 2 games separate these people in the loss column. And when you're following at this time of the year, that's the easiest way to find out how things are going. So for right now, this is a big game for Indiana, because if they should lose this, they would only be 2 games ahead of the Knicks on that loss side. Anything can happen in the last 5 games.
Mark Jackson. Oh, nice pass defense by Penny Hardaway. Reggie Miller, a very good one-on-one defender as you watch him work against Nick Anderson down here. He's one of the better post players. Shaquille O'Neal. Get the rebound in the jam.
Wow. Wow. Now that was quick. He thundered that right over the top of Dale Davis and as well as Smits. He has 10 points and 7 rebounds. Now just keep an eye on this. Now this is his 3rd offensive rebound score in this game. Now just watch it quick. Boom, bam, it's over.
Dale Davis is a muscle man, and he looks so tiny there against Shaq. We've said that so many times this year. 17-15 Orlando, 3:52 to go. First period in the game. And just think of this. Shaquille, 10-7 with just under 4 minutes to go in the first period. Smits handled it too long and lost it.
Yeah, that was stripped. And, you know, he had Shaq up in the air, and he could have made a quick move.
Out of bounds, Orlando ball.
What I like right now, Shaq is filling the lanes. He's running hard. He's in the middle. Now just keep an eye to your left. Here he comes right here. Now this is just... Oh, my. Put your hand up there and allow him to take it into the rim, right? Oh.
What is there? I think 285 pounds of pressure is what makes that rim come loose and bend so it doesn't break. And again, you're dealing with about 35 extra pounds. But Shaquille, if he just hung on the rim. Miller takes the carelessly handled ball, and it's 3-on-1. McKee.
Oh,
nice
bad
move and
shot.
a bad shot.
Oh, my. How could you... That was really a bad shot. In a 3-on-2.
Shaquille has 12.
It's interesting in the NBA. Whenever you miss a layup at one end of the floor, how quickly the other team scores.
In case you're keeping track, Shaquille with 3 dunks. 4-point Magic lead, just under 3 to go in the first period. Smits, only 4 points so far. Shaquille's been playing him better than vice versa. Jackson. This is the 3. Davis, big rebound. Look at the defense down in the post.
Oh, nice pass.
And Mark Jackson is fouled. Dale Davis not only got the loose ball, but hit Mark Jackson on the
Beautiful
drive.
pass. Beautiful pass by Dale Davis. Now just keep an eye on this. See, he gets caught up in the air, and he had no place to go. That's the story. If you have the chance to dunk, you dunk. Here, the quick rebound, fast break, send it home, baby, at the other end of the floor.
Mark Jackson with his... There's Derek McKee. You miss a shot, you get on camera.
Well, Mark Jackson is
you got a close-up.
He's having a great year. He's 8th in assists with 8 a game. He's 6th in assists to turnovers at 3.1 a game.
Rick Smith's going to sit down. Smits has only 1 personal foul, but has scored only 4 points. And Antonio Davis comes in. So now both of the Davis men, as I tell you for the umpteenth time, no relation, are in the game at the same time with McKee, Miller, and Mark Jackson. It's 2-point Orlando lead.
Reggie Miller right now is not in the offense. Okay, he is not coming off of screens. They're not going to him because they're trying to emphasize the low post game. Let's see what happens now with both Davises in, with only Derek McKee, a low post threat.
Antonio trying to keep Shaquille out of there. That's 14 for Shaquille at 39 against Cleveland.
Well, he just shoots up over the top of Antonio Davis. Come on, he's only 6'8".
Antonio gets down there, however, and does draw the foul as we look at Shaq with 14 points already, and that's 2 on Shaquille.
Now, this is a good move by Shaq. You see, he's been coming into the middle all night. Anytime he turns and he does the drop step power, that's tough enough. But when he does the drop step fade, there is no way you're going to get that. Now, right now, this is where Indiana must take advantage. They're coming in with Vaughn, the rookie out of Memphis, University of Memphis, to play the center position. And right now, Indiana must make it happen.
And David Vaughn has not really caught on, so to speak. He is not playing that well, even for a rookie. Hasn't adjusted to the NBA game as well as Brian Hill and the Orlando staff would have liked. Nick Anderson sits down now. Donald Royal is in. Brian Shaw is in. And there's a look at David Vaughn. He is 6'9", 240 pounds. And Dwayne Farrell is in the ball game for the Indiana Pacers.
Now, it isn't that Vaughn does not have physical tools. He has talent. It's just a matter of him getting himself in sync. Now, this is the first time we've seen an Indiana half-court trap. Now, if you notice, they took it right off after one trap. This is what you always have to be careful of, the three-point attempts.
Scott with a nice pass to David Vaughn. Scott took it in going off his left hand and made the nice dish.
Oh, he has good hands. He came out at the end of his junior year. A lot of people said it was a mistake. He should have stayed in school.
Jackson loses the ball. Shaw, Orlando's Anthony Hardaway to Scott, who bounces it off of Mike Mathis, but it belongs to Orlando with 19 on the shot clock.
Indiana not playing well offensively, Bob, but doing an excellent job in cutting down on the threes.
Hardaway.
Anytime your man backdoors you from the corner, you have got to have a forearm on that man, or they'll throw lobs all day long.
25-18 Orlando, minute 20 to go in the period. You said Reggie Miller not in the flow. He's only taken 4 shots and only hit 1, Hubie. Farrell tries inside, knocked out of bounds by Orlando. 5 on the shot clock.
Indiana has 2 guys shooting over 40% in threes. Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller. The only way they're going to open up is if you establish a low post game.
Haywood Workman gets into the game for Indiana here for the final minute 11 of the first period. Workman, the 5th-year player from Oral Roberts. From long range, Reggie Miller has 2 triples.
Bob, that was pretty. Okay, that was really pretty. He worked Shaw, caught, and then just shot it in his face. Shaw was right on top of him.
Same size, too. You're not talking about shooting over a little defender. Hardaway, you'll get him posted when Shaquille's out of there. His turnaround. Over Dwayne Farrell.
Unfortunately for all point guards or 2 guards or small forwards who play Penny down inside, he has many hoops.
Dwayne kept him away from the hoop, but didn't keep the ball away from it. The hold is going to be called on David Vaughn as he tries to defend Antonio Davis.
Now keep an eye on Reggie. He'll set a screen, then he'll come up. Now remember, when he catches, there's 5 seconds. Now just look at the patience here. How about that? Faked up, right on top of him, and Shaw had the hand right in his face.
So Reggie Miller at 11 minutes, 6 points, 2 for 5. And the 2 are triples, thus his 6 points. How about this for Orlando, though? O'Neal and Hardaway, 23 of Orlando's 27. Shaquille is on the bench with 2 fouls and 14 points. Here's Antonio. You liked him. I remember you're pointing him out before he ever came into this league, saying that he had a future.
Well, you know, he was drafted out of UTEP, University of Texas, El Paso, and he went overseas, and he played 2 years in Greece and a year in Italy before he came to the NBA, and they were high on him right at training camp, because you're talking 6'9", 245. He can play center as well as power forward, rebounder, and a shot blocker.
Even though he's in his 3rd year, he's 28 years old, so he's got maturity too. Strong player, 6'9", 230.
Oh, great steal.
Dwayne Farrell, he's got the legs. I wanted a little bit more mustard on that.
Yeah, but that's what he does well. Farrell plays the passing lane. Right now, they're to their small group now. You have Workman and Farrell and Miller in there, along with McKee, and you're going to see now they're out. They pressure you in, pressure you. They play the passing lanes well.
There's Farrell playing the dribbling lane. Hardaway has to throw up the flare at the buzzer. 27-24, Orlando by 3. Thank you, Shaquille O'Neal, for that. 14 points by Shaq, but he does have 2 personal fouls. One of the more beautiful facilities in the NBA, and a league full of nice-looking facilities. 27-24 Orlando, ready to start the second quarter. Here's what the 2 big fellas have done in the first quarter. Shaquille O'Neal with 14 and 7 rebounds, and Rick Smits with only 1 foul, by the way, but only 1 rebound.
Well, you can see the key there, the field goal attempts. He's attempted 13 shots, but he's getting them on the offensive board. Indiana right now giving up too many easy. 6 turnovers, and then Orlando with 5 offense. This is great. Magic victory on TNT would be great, because today, I mean, that's terrific. The little rascals, they're in here tonight. Field goal shooting, Indiana 47%, Orlando 46. 3-point shooting, Indiana 2 for 4. Reggie Miller made both, and Orlando 1 for 6.
Beginning the second period, 3-point Orlando lead. Bob Neal, Hubie Brown, Craig Sager with you. The arena in beautiful Orlando.
Great steal. Good hands.
Brian Shaw took it right away from Haywood Workman, who normally handles the ball very well and takes good care of it. And now the foul.
Now that is the 7th turnover for Indiana. If there is a niche in their armor offensively, it's the fact that they are 19th in the league in turnovers, averaging 16 a game. Now, Ricky Pierce is in the lineup. That's good to see. Also, Eddie Johnson is back. after he missed 20 games because of a knee problem. So 2 prime-time scorers, Pierce and Eddie Johnson, both with 13 years experience.
And Rick Smits is coming back into the game. Anthony Bowie has come onto the floor for Orlando. So we're getting deep into the benches of both teams here. And Joe Wolf is on the floor for Orlando in opening moments of the second period of play. Orlando 2 of 6 from the free throw line. Until then.
Well, we know Orlando, they only shoot 69%. They're 28th in the league. Only Portland shoots fouls worse than Orlando.
Smits back in, only has 1 foul. Remember, Shaquille has 2. Another near steal by Anderson. Dwayne Farrell.
We're seeing some good anticipation from both teams defensively, shooting the passing lanes on diagonal passing.
Anderson with the penetration. Joe Wolf open for the jumper. Doesn't get it, but he's a good shooter from out there. That's really what he brings you offensively. And Haywood Workman to Smits. Quiet in the arena.
It sure is.
Shaquille steps around Smits to make the interception.
Oh, boy.
And that's going to be the 3rd foul on Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, well, you know, Brian better act quickly now and get him out of there before he picks up his 4th.
Remember, they're without Koncak and Horace Grant tonight. David Vaughn comes back.
He gets around him, so he moved him with that inside hand. Now, some nights that might not be called. Other nights it will be. Mike Mathis just called a technical foul.
On Shaquille O'Neal. Smits will shoot the technical.
Well, it's always the key to big games when the good teams are playing one another, meaning the playoff people. Because the inside people have got to adjust to the refereeing. We say it all the time at playoff time. And it will depend upon the personalities of the 3 referees that night. It's never the same.
How often do you see the center shoot the technical? But Smits is an 80% free throw shooter. And he hit that one, as you see. 10:58 to go in the half. It's now a 3-point Orlando lead. Shaquille on the bench with 14 points and 3 fouls. Haywood Workman with his first basket of the night.
He's a penetrator. He's also excellent defensively and especially stealing the ball.
Brian Shaw still has that sore. I almost had the ball.
No,
I thought.
I can't believe it.
I had my first catch.
You were like going for the gold ring, all right, on the carousel. I can't believe it. I
was open.
Marty, was he up or what? Oh, he was trying.
I kept my pen in my hand.
The key would have been, though, would you have shot it? That's what.
Yes, I would have shot it.
Marty has here Bob with his 38-inch vertical leap.
That's down, however. That's jumping down. Oh, me. Here's Ricky Pierce. That's what he does best. And today, we'll go to this right now. We were talking to Larry Brown about how he's had such a difficult time working these 2 players into this team, and there's a reason for it. There's a timeout, and he'll tell you what it is when we come back to the arena in Orlando. It's a 20. They're saying it's a 20 now. So we'll stay here.
Ricky Pierce and Eddie Johnson both have been in the league 13 years. They both have had 3 seasons of scoring over 20 points a game. Ricky Pierce was 6th man of the year on 2 occasions when he played in Milwaukee. We're talking about 2 great super subs. Ricky Pierce's game is 18 feet down out of Rice University, 1st-round draft pick by Detroit back in the old days. Eddie Johnson's game is a 3-point shooting game, and you've got to get out on him. And both of them are murder because they are streak shooters.
There's Eddie Johnson. Indiana on an 8-1 run, and they've regained the lead again, 29-28, 10-12 to go in the half.
They got to go in this match. You can't miss him when he's open. See, Workman was too late there.
Shaw kept it alive, but it was knocked away by Vaughn. Workman missing. And now Indiana's size will pay with Shaquille out of there, and Koncak and Horace Grant also not in tonight's game. So Orlando really without any inside strength right now at all.
I expect Indiana to get 2 attempts almost every time down the floor because they can really body up. The key now is to hit Smits when he's open.
Indiana on a 10-1 run. Anderson tries to post up against Farrell, and Farrell be called for the bump.
Yeah, that's a tough call. Orlando not only posts O'Neal and Hardaway, but the forgotten man many nights is Nick Anderson. Here we have John Koncak sitting out this evening.
He was
with
put on the
Achilles
injured list, by the way, today.
An Achilles problem.
They gave us a note just a little while ago. We thought he was going to be back.
Well, they
next
thought maybe Sunday. He thought maybe next Tuesday. But now he's got to miss 5 games.
Here comes Indiana, leading at 31-28, their biggest lead of the game.
Well, we said at the top that Shaq must stay out of foul trouble. This is just unfortunate for Orlando.
Well, that was a major pick and roll when Smith set that one, and an easy pass from Pharrell.
Well, anytime you trap the pick and roll with Smits, if he sets the screen and then spots up, you've got to get there quick.
Brian Shaw backing in on Haywood. Dish to Vaughn.
Nice. In traffic, good score. See, he's big and strong, Bob. 6'9", 240, good hands, and he's around the basket. But it takes more than that to play and get minutes, especially on a very good playoff team.
Into Smits. That'll go down pretty easily. By the way, that was the first basket in 4 minutes for Orlando, with Hardaway on the bench, Shaquille on the bench with 3 fouls, Koncak, Grant not here tonight, and Indiana with a 5-point bulge. Pick and roll.
If you're really zooming in on this game right now, well, that was a beautiful shot. Indiana playing the post-up people man-to-man, hugging the outside guys. It's difficult for them to get a wide-open jump shot.
You heard the Wolf calls here. For Joe, number 12, having to play some inside play here. Came up to me before the game and said, watch me rumble tonight. Not exactly known for his inside play. And the shot clock violation, Orlando ball.
The guards are responsible for the shot clock. You can't have a point guard losing sight of the fact that the clock is down. He should know that, or he should be taking a look at it. He has missed Rick Smits now twice wide open in the paint. And then he gets to him, but he's out of the painted area, Bob, with the guy behind him.
High screen and roll for Brian Shaw. Tried to get it to David Vaughn. Loose ball back out to Joe Wolf. Here come the Wolf calls.
Oh, Joe can do that. You've got to get out on him now. He's a 52% shooter. He's not a three-point threat, but he can knock down that 18 to 20-foot jump shot.
Pacers by 1. Haywood Workman struggling as he came in for Mark Jackson at the point. Back to Smits. He's going to just... Smits is just going to load it up down there. He has 11 now. Shaquille has 14. But Shaquille got those 14 in the first half of the first period. Now has picked up 3 fouls and is on the bench.
Anytime you have an advantage in the NBA, you milk it until they either front him or they decide to go away for other reasons.
Shaw backing in, and the foul called by Tommy Nunez. Mike Mathis, Tommy Nunez, and Tommy Wood, by the way, are our officials. Timeout on the floor. Back to the arena after this.
Keep an eye at the top of the circle. Rick Smits will pass the ball to the wing and come over and set a screen. Now, anytime that you have a screen and roll situation and he doesn't roll, he spots up. As the dribbler comes off in the situation, the defense traps. Well, who is the rotator? This guy right here, Joe Wolf. He is late. You cannot be late on a good baseline shooter, and Rick Smits is one of the best big men in the league in hitting that shot. Now keep an eye on Smits. Now see, they continue to screen here. Now hold it right there. Now see, they've got to hit him while he's in the paint. Instead, the pass is late and he will come out of the paint. Now, you don't want to do that because now he's in a chicken fight. See, when he is open, get it to him because he's closer to the rim.
Rick Smits with 11 points now. Since O'Neal went out with his 3rd foul, the Pacers have outscored the Magic 13-6. And look at this. Anderson has not scored, 0 for 5. Scott, 0 for 2. Neither one of them have scored from the floor tonight.
Well, very few open three-point shots where they feast.
And Hardaway's back in. They'll try to post him. So is Derek McKee for Indiana. Joe Wolf missing. Smits rebounded. Quick baseline move by Pharrell. Got Wolf air ball. And the foul. Good moves by Dwayne Farrell down there.
Dwayne Farrell is a slasher, and you just like his game. And as we know, Bob, he appreciates the NBA. He was not drafted out of Georgia Tech. He had to go down to the CBA, work his way up with Atlanta, and then put in many fine years at Atlanta. Now you can see against Atlanta, as a matter of fact, the other night, he really had a very good ball game. But he
makes you wonder.
That's right. He's a slasher, a guy who can really get to the basket.
Tree Rollins to the left of your picture there, talking to Shaquille O'Neal, sitting on the bench with 3 personal fouls. I jokingly told Tree, I said, you know, you're coming out of retirement again tonight. Concat, Horace Grant not here. Never again, said Tree. Never again.
Tree was around for 19 years.
39-34, Pacers, 6:15 to go in the first half.
Tree Rollins, one of the leading shot blockers in the history of this league.
Brian Shaw, defended by Haywood Workman. Here's that high screen and roll again. Wolf, defended by Farrell. That's a tough move. And a foul.
That was a beautiful read by Joe Wolf. Once he started to back his man down, he looked at the shot clock, and he saw that it was at 3 seconds. He made his move and a quick shot.
Some scores tonight. Washington still on a roll, minus George Marasan, is going to miss the rest of the season. Atlanta leading Milwaukee 59-45. Hawks been struggling a little bit lately. Early score between Philly and Chicago. This will age you. Remember the year Joe Wolf was drafted, and I just look up there and I see 9 years.
Hey, Joe Wolf was first-round draft pick, 13th pick in '87 with the Los Angeles Clippers. He's played for 6 teams, so you know he's been around. He's a knowledgeable player, and what Brian Hill has always said about him, they like his intelligence, and also he keeps the defense honest because of all of their good post-up people.
Ricky Pierce pass inside to Smith. Don't know how he missed that one. Brian Shaw still has that sore wrist. Here's Penny Hardaway. That is usually money in the bank, but the rebound goes to Mark Jackson. He makes an errant pass. Hardaway knocks it out of bounds, intended for Pierce. We have 19 on the shot clock. Reggie Miller back in, Dennis Scott back in. Get out your scorecards.
Well, Hardaway, you know, is 6th in the league in steals, so you have to always be careful. The rebounding right now, Indiana's made a major upswing. Out rebounding Orlando now 20-14 for the half.
Pierce. And look how Anderson gets it out to Hardaway. 5 minutes to go in the first half of play. 4-point Pacers lead. Shaquille on the bench with 3 personal fouls.
Nice passing.
Scott.
Yes, indeed.
That's a 2 for Dennis, and that's unusual for him. The last game they played against Cleveland, he was 4 of 11 from the floor. They were all 3-point attempts. That would have been, but he stepped on the line.
Well, between Scott and Anderson, they've made 400. That's more than some teams have made this year.
Smith's back into the paint again.
That's like almost automatic.
Yeah. 13 for Smith's, 6 of 10 from the floor.
We are seeing very little double teaming of any post-up player at either end of the floor.
Well, they both can shoot the long-range bombs, so you get hurt when you do that. Here's Anderson, tough inside, kicks it out to Hardaway. 3-second violation called by Tommy Nunez, and the ball will go the other way.
Now, you and I have done a number of games this year.
I'd say so.
We have now seen 2 3-second calls in this game for a NBA first for us this year.
I think that's 3 all year. Indiana by 4. Craig Sagers with their general manager. Craig.
He's not only the president of the Indiana Pacers, but he's also head of the selection committee for the original Dream Team in '92. What is your reaction to Charles Barkley and Mitch Richmond being picked this year?
Well, Barkley and Richmond are great players. Peyton and Kemp are great players. When you're on that committee and you try to pick the 12 best players in the NBA, you always look at who you didn't pick, and you realize you left great players off. I think that's the pressure. You got to win so nobody can criticize the selection.
There are rumors on the West Coast that your coach and your former college teammate Larry Brown may be available. What is his contract status?
Well, that's news to me. He's got 3 more years with us. He's told me he wants to stay and coach with us, so I'd be very surprised at any validity to those rumors at all.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go back to Bob.
All right, Donnie Walsh. Rumors with Mr. Suitcase Larry Brown, although you can't call him Suitcase anymore. He's been there a while with Indiana, and since he's been at Indiana, they have become a force in the NBA.
Well, what I liked there was the fact that the statement that he still has 3 more years on his contract. So in order to go anywhere, he would have to get a release. You can see the difference right here. Rick Smith says is 4 for 5 from the field since O'Neal picked up his 3rd. And you brought out a good point earlier, Bob. He is a great foul shooter. He shoots right around that 80 mark year in and year out.
David Vaughn with his 3 fouls. See David on the side getting rare early playing minutes. And Smith gets them both. It is 43-37 Indiana. 3 minutes, 49 seconds to go in the first half.
With Rick Smith, you love it when all the guys said, I always knew he had it. You know, it took Rick Smith like 5 to 6 seasons before he totally blossomed.
Out of Marist College.
Strong move.
Nick Anderson gets his first basket of the night after missing 5 in a row.
Well, he loves the post up. His game is from the foul line down, from the wings and the post area.
David Vaughn's light flashing in front of his eyes there, but pretty good defense on Smith's that time. And back comes Hardaway.
In spite of their problems, they're only down 4. In spite of O'Neal missing all his time.
McKee, his hands full on Dennis Scott. Good moves off the dribble there to draw the foul. McKee, good defender, of course.
A lot of people would look at that and said, hey, Dennis Scott just went to the basket. Now, we're going to bring out a little point here. For his career, he's averaged, for a year, less than 2 foul shot attempts throughout his entire career. This year, he's pushing 4. So, you know, at least he's taking it to the basket more. Plus, they are posting him up more this year, Bob.
Well, when Shaquille was out at the beginning of the year, the post-up game for the Magic with their guards and forwards just was tremendous. One of the reasons they won so well. And, of course, tonight they're without Horace Grant or John Koncak, and now Shaquille's on the bench.
You look at Scott's game, you're talking about a guy who attempts 8 threes a game. He shoots 42%. He has made 8 threes 3 times this year, 5 threes 17 times this season.
Indiana by 2. Smits at 11 in the quarter. That'll be a 3 for Mark Jackson.
Well, Mark Jackson, we brought that out earlier. He's shooting over 40%. He takes right about 3 a game, and you have to like that because that definitely has improved him as a player.
There you go, Shaquille on the bench, posting Hardaway, backing Mark Jackson down, and he will make you pay there. Pacers by 3.
Anytime Penny Hardaway posts up, shoots and misses, your point guard's got to take off and put the pressure on them. Transition defense.
Reggie Smith with a very soft touch.
Reggie Miller.
What did I say, Reggie Smith?
Why not? Come on, he was a heck of a baseball player for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
And had a very soft touch, too. And Nick Anderson. Reggie's. Sometimes you got a brownout. You know, half the computer chip goes down. Indiana by 3. Minute 58 to go in the first half. Smits 11 in the quarter since Shaquille's had to sit out. Nice pass inside. And Farrell gets it and 1. Jackson hit him down there.
Farrell is like the garbage man. He's like a Cedric Ceballos, but he doesn't get as many minutes there. Naturally shot attempts. He's constantly running without the ball, and that was a perfect backdoor. And Mark Jackson, what a beautiful pass.
And coming up on the Reebok halftime report, Ernie Johnson and Reggie's smarter, better-looking sibling, Cheryl, will be in the studios. Scores and highlights. Cheryl will be, by the way, to be talking about Dream Team 3, talking about that. And also, Cheryl will offer her thoughts on the Nick Van Exel suspension. 7 games, second most in the league history.
Well, off the bench, Rain Farrell now has 9 points and 2 rebounds.
Nick Anderson. Wolf runs it down. Nice save. Back to Scott. Hardaway. Wolf kept it alive again. Not classic rebounding, but it's good hustle down there by Joe Wolf. Orlando only 1 for 8 from beyond the arc tonight.
That was a very good call by Mike Mathis, because there were an awful lot of people in that, what is it, a scrum in rugby?
Scrum, yeah.
All right? And he definitely was hit from the rear.
That's 3 fouls, by the way, on Dwayne Farrell. Nick Anderson, 69% free throw shooter. Farrell goes to the bench. And Orlando's right at 50% from the line tonight, 6 of 12. Pacers by 5 with 1:25 to go. Shaquille has set out all of the second part of this second quarter with his 3 personal fouls. Reggie Miller not getting it. Rebound Dale Davis.
Oh, pretty.
Miller has it blocked by Anderson.
That was a great backdoor by Miller and a terrific block by Nick Anderson.
22nd timeout called by Mark Jackson and the Pacers.
Well, Nick Anderson, a good defender, and he knows that he's in for a long night tonight. You have to expend a lot of energy playing Reggie Miller. He is one of the best that I have ever seen in the league, and I've been around the league since '73 in coming off screens. So you cannot blink the wrong way and hesitate. And right there, you can see Nick lost them on the back door, but he was quick enough to come back and block the shot. He wears you down. And you say, well, what's the big deal? Well, you want to also play at the offensive end of the floor, and it kind of like saps your strength. But he makes you alert.
And Nick Anderson has 5 points, but he was at one point 0 for 5 in this game. And you could see as Nick walked off the floor, the exhausted look on his face. Shaquille O'Neal has played only 11 minutes in this game due to foul trouble. And that's the most significant reason that the Pacers have a 51-46 edge with 1:03 to go in the half.
Well, it's all right if Shaq's out, as long as Grant and Konkak are here to take up the minutes.
Ricky Pierce cradles it. Has 4.
Hey, that was pretty. That was pretty. He's a scorer, so he knew that if he got hit, he was going to make the shot and then take it to the foul line.
Where he's up near 90. Again. Dennis Scott. Not this time.
Oh,
Orlando.
yeah, look
1
out.
for 9. Reggie Miller all alone. Royal. Reggie Miller. The finesse. And that's the biggest lead of the game. Pacers by 9. Half minute to go in the half.
That's what we meant when we said you send Penny Hardaway to post up. Nick Anderson gets caught down in the other corner. And if you can rebound and push, their guards are below the foul line.
9 seconds on the shot clock for the slash Donald Royal. Out of bounds. 6 on the shot clock. Orlando ball.
Now this is a big-time scorer taking it to the hole. Watch how he cradles the ball here. He's going to take the hit, put it off the glass.
Now Tommy Nunez with a late call. We'll come back to it after the replay.
Yeah, this is just a good move. Reggie realizing, and also Indiana realizing all night, that the Orlando guards get caught down, and this is the Achilles heel of this team, along with the foul shooting, is Orlando's transition defense.
They called a foul on Eddie Johnson, who fouled them as they tried to inbound the ball, and that's a 2-shot foul. With 16.6 to go, Donald Royal goes to the line.
Eddie Johnson played in the European Final Four final last year with a team from Greece. He and Volkov from Russia were on the same team. They lost the final on the last shot. The reason why we bring that up is because this year Dominic Wilkins' team from Greece won the championship Thursday night, and Dominic was MVP.
Is there a pattern there? That's Dominique's first ring.
That's right.
55-47 with 4 seconds. Now 3. Miller. Bullock. Indiana leads at the half, 55-47. Shaquille started this game a house of fire, then picked up his 3rd foul. The second quarter didn't get any points. Had those 14 in the first 7 minutes of this game. We'll be joining EJ and Cheryl after this. The last time Hubie and I were here at the Arena before the ball game, the Orlando Magic were undefeated. Since then, they've lost 3, and they're behind at halftime again. Let's go to Craig Sager with Brian Hill.
A scouting report and game plan go out the window when Shaq gets in foul trouble, Grant is suspended, Konkak is injured. What are your toughest adjustments tonight, Brian?
To find a big guy to play for us out there on the floor. Yeah, it's tough. I thought it was a very difficult 3rd foul call on Shaquille. tough one, and then followed up by a technical, no less. But our guys are fighting hard. We got to be able to find a way to get the Smiths quicker on the double teams, especially with Shaq out of the game, and just do a good job on the boards and keep playing good defense.
Bob says you should activate Tree Rollins, but seriously, what were your comments to Shaq at halftime?
Well, there's nothing you can say other than get loose and be ready to go in the second half. I can't put him back in there with the third foul coming that quickly, and we'll make an adjustment in this half. He'll play Dale Davis for a while. We'll keep him off of Smiths to try and keep him out of foul trouble.
All right, sorry, Bob, but Tree just came in the locker room. He's still in street clothes.
I was hoping to see Tree, too. And I know his former coach was the man who drafted him from Clemson. Was looking forward to see him, too. Well, if you have Dennis Scott playing badly offensively, Nick Anderson has only 4 points. Shaquille only 11 minutes. The two men out, you heard what Brian Hill had to say. It's not that they're not that far down when you think about it.
No, they're only 8 down. With Shaq, you're a +5. Without Shaq, you're a -13. They have missed 7 foul shots. They are 1 for 9 in threes. Dale Davis has 11 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds, and the bench is getting killed. The bench is 17-10 in favor of Indiana.
Look at the three-point shooting for the Orlando Magic.
Well, you can see that right there. That's a major minus. And then the scoring margin, you can see right there. So with the big fella, you're +5. So you just got to hope that he can stay out of foul trouble. Now, this is Shaq on his way to one of his 14 points right here. Nice drop step, power move, sending it down. But he only played 11 minutes. And during that period of time, he also had 7 rebounds. Now here is the big fella, Smiths, making a major run. 15 points and only 2 rebounds in that first half. But Dale Davis with 11 is more than making up for it.
Indiana also running the fast break well in this half.
Yeah, I thought that the small team did a very good job in getting the ball out. This is Reggie sending it down. He has 10 at the half. He's only 4 for 10 from the floor, but he's 2 for 3 in threes.
We're underway, second half from the Arena, 55-47. Indiana, this victory in terms of the seeding in the Eastern Conference, still important to Indiana as they haven't yet clinched the 3rd spot. They're only 2 games ahead of the Knicks in the loss column, so it is significant for Indiana. 10-point lead.
That was just a great back screen and opening up Smiths on the baseline.
Keel going right back to work. Passes it inside to Joe Wolf. Missed the reverse.
Joe,
Dale Davis.
You have to send those down, Joe. Right? I mean, that was an easy one. That should have been a reverse dunk.
12 rebounds for Dale Davis for that one. Pacers' biggest lead, a lead of 10.
Well, they're bringing Dale Davis to the ball because Shaq is playing him.
Tip in. Didn't go down for Smiths.
Well, Smiths has got to take advantage of his size over Joe Wolf.
Penny Hardaway. 13 points for Anthony.
If you're going to post up Dale Davis, he has got to understand. No fadeaway jump shots, big fella. Take it to the rim and force Shaq to guard you.
Nice pass from Smiths down inside. And a clamping defense by Nick Anderson and the foul.
Right now, we have seen a change in strategy. When the ball goes into Smiths, they're double teaming with Shaq coming from the other side. Dale Davis just dove right to the front of the rim. When your man leaves you, dive to the front of the basket.
10:37 to go, 3rd quarter. Bob Neal, Judy Brown, Craig Sager with you from Orlando, Florida.
There's Shaq on the double team.
Reggie Miller open. 13 points for Reggie Miller and 3 triples tonight. Reggie's 3 of 4 from beyond the arc.
It's difficult to double team using Shaq as a double teamer. You kick it out and you reverse the ball, you're going to give up a 3.
Miller came in for the double team there. Joe Wolf keeping it alive. Saved by Anderson. Stripped by Jackson. Orlando ball.
Good hustle, and we have an injury right here. Joe Wolf, there's a collision with McKee right at half court. I can't tell what it is, whether it's a injury to his jaw or maybe to his right shoulder.
Lenny Courier, the Orlando trainer, out to look at Joe Wolf. It happened right at midcourt. He and McKee collided. We could hear the ball. The play was away from where he fell down, so I didn't see it, but you could hear him hit the floor. It sounded like it was his elbow or his head or a bone hitting the floor.
Keep an eye on it now. Now, right here. Oh, he gets kicked right in the face. You keep an eye on this now. Can we roll that back row, and then we can just show him coming right down? He gets kicked in the face by Derek McKee going over the top of him in this collision. Now keep an eye on it. Now it's right at the center circle. There it is, right there. You can see it. He gets kicked right there in the face.
They got a full timeout, still working on Joe Wolf at midcourt. We'll be back here in just a moment. 11-point lead by the Indiana Pacers. Joe Wolf just now leaving the floor. Lenny Courier was out there to check the back of his neck, but Hubie, he really took what you might say 2 blows here.
Yeah, watch the foot of Derek McKee. It kicks him right there in the head. Then it drives his head into the floor. But as you notice, as he also walked off, you can see that he split open in the middle of his forehead. You can see it, or is that the hair? What is that?
That's the hair, and you see
so?
already that 2 of them are out. And Craig Sager's over there near the bench. Craig, you have anything further on this?
Yes, that's Lenny Curry and also Dave Alba both looking at Joe Wolf. As you mentioned, he came off a little groggy. He did snap his head back, and at one point it looked like maybe he was temporarily knocked out. However, he walked off, although a little groggy. He said he's okay. I asked if they're going to take him to the locker room right away, and they said no, they're just going to sit him on the bench and see how he is. So it doesn't appear to be serious. They have not called for the doctor yet. It's just the strength coach and their trainer.
All right, Craig, thanks very much. David Vaughn is in for him now. So it's Shaquille and David Vaughn and Scott and Hardaway and Anderson on the floor as Joe Wolf still being attended to by the medical experts for the Orlando Magic. We'll give you a further report from Craig when we find out more about his condition. Shaquille, pretty move.
Yeah, tough move. Brought that one back and up over the top of Smits. I like this Orlando lineup because they're big now. Shaq isn't strapped a little bit with Scott and Royal up front, so he's going to get big-time help there from Vaughn, hopefully.
Dale Davis.
That's what he must do. Anytime you have a center in foul trouble and he's playing you and think that you can't score, you cannot throw a fadeaway jump shot. You've got to take the ball right at him to the rim.
Double-double for Dale already tonight. 10 points, 12 boards. And to Scott.
You can't fall asleep there.
That's his first 3 tonight.
Yep, and you know, the defender out there got caught in no man's land. He was halfway back in. No excuse for that.
Smits with a nice touchdown there, easily over David Vaughn. It's 64-54. Pacers, 9 minutes to go, third quarter.
Rick is now 7 for 12 from the floor.
19 points. Shaquille has 16. Dennis Scott. Look out. 2 triples in a row for Dennis.
Well, Derek McKee was late getting there on that rotation. By the way, Derek McKee has not been heard from tonight. 0 points and only 1 rebound.
Story of his career. Some nights invisible, some nights an incredible player. 3-second violation. Dennis has hit 2 in a row now, Scott, with 10 points.
Well, there's the double team from the top, and you can see Derek McKee got there late. You cannot make that mistake with Scott. We told you he averages 8 attempts a game. He's shooting 42%.
Craig, what's the latest on Joe Wolf?
Dr. James Spears came over and diagnosed Joe Wolf, said he's a little dazed, but he definitely did not have a concussion. He's been cleared to go back into the game.
Good news.
Good news.
Shaquille backing in Rick Smits. The spin move, that was good also, but it wouldn't fall, and Smits comes away with the ball.
Good help that time. Excellent team defense contesting that shot.
Smits on the pull-up jumper. Shaquille, bad pass saved by Reggie Miller. Then a nice save also by McKee, and Miller firing.
Oh.
That's a triple for Reggie Miller, and the Pacers lead back to 10.
Bob, when you're coaching, that's like a knife in the heart. You're going one way, bam, a turnover. Next thing you know, in your face, Reggie, 4 for 5 from the 3-point line.
Yeah, 5-point difference. You miss your at least 2, they get the 3. Shaquille tried to go the other way to dunk. Smits was there, no call. Smits is down, now back up. Miller, 3. Oh, it's a shootout in Orlando at the moment. Dennis Scott and Reggie Miller have hit 4 threes in the last 1 minute.
Well, right now, Brian Hill is upset at the one end of the floor. They're talking about O'Neal dunking over Smits. There should have been contact called.
Indiana's biggest lead, 7:24 to go in the third quarter.
Well, you can see right here, this is just a smart move. Reggie's on fire in threes. This is his 4th out of 5 attempts. And then as you go down the other end, all of a sudden you get another loose ball. And what happens? Reggie off a baseline screen coming up. He's got the feel. He's 5 for 6. This year, he's shooting 40%. Tonight, Indiana, 6 for 9 in threes. Reggie Miller, 5 for 6. Orlando, only 3 for 11 in threes.
There's Reggie's numbers, 19. Brian Hill got a technical at the timeout for arguing about what he considered non-call on Shaquille's dunk attempt over Rick Smits, and Reggie Miller now has 10 points in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but he gets them in bunches. You know, that's. Do we have to bring up the playoff game with the Knicks?
I think not.
That's still one of the all-time great NBA finishes.
Pacers' biggest lead, 71-57, 7:17 to go in the third quarter. Foul on Indiana. Chevrolet scoreboard time. Join Paul Crane and Nancy Newman, CNN Sports Tonight, for all the scores and highlights later. Boston keeps winning even though they're not making the playoffs. Washington, easy. Going to have that one with Minnesota, only 4.5 left. Washington still in the hunt for the 8th seed. Atlanta back to Milwaukee. Atlanta had a big lead. Milwaukee took the lead. Now the Hawks. Chicago ahead of Philadelphia at the half. And David Vaughn to the free throw line.
This is the perfect team for this young guy and his talents. He's just got to work at his total game, get involved, understand what they want to do here offensively, because they need another major big body at playoff time.
Needed those 2 free throws, too. They're just now in double digits made. Orlando Magic, 71-59, 7 minutes to go third period.
Now, right now, the Orlando was in a 2-2-1 press, and unfortunately, Vaughn was not.
Mark Jackson, of all the things I like to watch Mark Jackson do, it's the penetrating move.
Well, when he throws that teardrop, you know, it's just beautiful how he lets it go, and he's always been able to do that. We have a shot clock problem. When he came in the league, he was Rookie of the Year with the Knicks, and then he also played in the All-Star game in his 2nd year, and Mark Jackson broke Oscar Robertson's assist mark for a rookie in this league. I mean, this guy was the total package. He was a great point guard at St. John's, an excellent playmaker, did the same thing for the Knicks, went out, played for the Clippers for a few years, and definitely has found a home here at Indiana.
7 points, 8 assists tonight.
Yeah, nice. That makes what he does on a year, 8 assists a game. Thing about that you like about him, that when he's on a roll, you must guard him now because he makes the 3 at 40%. He's dangerous in the lane because of the teardrop shot, and it very seldom ever gets blocked. And then if you double team him in the lane, you run people at him, he makes the pass.
Giving Shaquille O'Neal a chance to get a breather with the rest of them. Horace Grant not playing tonight. The reason? A fight with Danny Ferry and a 1-game suspension. And here it is, and watch this. There's 1, 2, 3 blows that we can count thrown by Horace, and he's been suspended 1 game.
Yeah, he caught Danny Ferry in the lane with 2, a forearm to the head, and then another shot before that last one. Now, right now, you know, they talk about his defense, but he also gets the points and the rebounding. He is a major offensive rebounder against all teams.
That's only the 2nd fight ejection in his career for Horace Grant, however, not generally a fighter. Shaquille O'Neal.
Now this will be a tough call because it might be on Smits. Yeah, it's on Rick Smits.
And that's his 3rd. So both Shaquille and Smits have it next week on TNT and TBS Tuesday. Special starting time, note 9 Eastern time, Houston at Phoenix. Important for both of those teams. Wednesday, Indiana again at Detroit. And Detroit making a move at 8 Eastern time. That's on TBS. And then Friday, I'll be at New York for Charlotte. And Charlotte's still locked in that battle with Miami. And now it looks like maybe even Washington. And our friends at NBC this weekend have plenty of NBA action. Tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, you'll see the Knicks at the Heat or the Sonics at the Spurs. Then on Sunday, doubleheader at 1 Eastern, Bulls face the Cavs. And then at 3:30 Eastern, Suns and Lakers. We're doing all these ball games for you right here in a row so you can get ready We get ready for the onslaught of playoff games. They start Thursday, April 24th. Shaquille, how about this? 70% free throws last 5 games.
Yeah, well, that's nice. I just hope that he can make them, because for the year he's only shooting 48%. And that's a negative because he gets there 9 times a game.
Donald Royal is going to check in for the Orlando Magic.
Well, I know they were high on the fact that during this period of time he made 28 out of 39 coming in here tonight.
He's 1 of 3 tonight. Ooh, well, so much for... We did the best we could to set that up for him. I think that got the bottom of the rim. 73-60 Pacers, 6:29 to go, third quarter. Shaquille, by the way, does have 17 points.
Nice play by Nick Anderson.
Bad pass from Antonio Davis, and Anderson scores easy at the other end, and Nick has 7.
Well, that was a nice move by Nick. He turned Reggie Miller around when he made that crossover move and then took it strong to the rim.
You know, Hubie, it was about at this point in the game with the Lakers, you and I did 10 days ago, that Orlando really ran out of gas, and they've been out of gas since. This will be interesting to see if they can turn it back on here. The foul on Dennis Scott.
If you or I were Larry Brown right now, this is the guy that must get it going. Derek McKee has been unheard of in this ballgame tonight. This is your third scorer who averages 12 points a game for you, shoots 49%. He has no points and only 2 rebounds in this game. Now, we know that he has a bad wrist. We said that for over the last 6 weeks he's been struggling, and they've had to sit him out of practices, and he only plays the game. Now, you commend him on, you can see the wrist right there. You commend him on the fact that he's not missing time, because he is their best defender, their best man-to-man defender.
1 out of 2 at the line this time for Derek. 74-62, Pacers by 12. Orlando with a small lineup on the floor, except for Shaquille, which always changes your small lineup. Here's Hardaway kicking it to Dennis Scott. Back to Hardaway, to Anderson. That's how many 3-point threats they have. Shaquille, the offensive board, and the putback.
That was terrific. See, that's what they missed in that first half, because the big fella in the first half had 4 offensive rebounds. If he can get himself going right now, we have plenty of time. They're only 10 down.
Here's Davis again against Shaquille. Didn't have anything to go. McKee from 16. McKee still without any points tonight. Loose ball, fast break, 3-on-2. Anderson.
Oh, good hands that time by Mark Jackson. He thought he had a steal.
Craig Sager, what's the latest on Joe Wolf?
Well, we mentioned that Joe Wolf was a little groggy after continuing to feel a little dazed. He went to the locker room. He is now being evaluated for a possible slight concussion, and that means he will not be back.
Thanks, Craig. Free throw line, Nick Anderson.
Now, if Koncak is on the injured list, that's 5 games. Joe Wolf with a concussion. You get Grant back in the next game.
John Koncak, I talked with him before the ball game, and John said that it's a strained Achilles, but that it is getting worse and worse. And he said even walking on it is painful. He said it very clearly. He says, you know, I can play with a lot of injuries, but if you can't run, you can't play. And which is a good point. Sore wrist would at least still be there. Reggie Miller makes a bad pass. Hardaway comes up with it. Scott follows.
That was great hustle to get that ball. Sure, the miss happened, but how about Dennis Scott running that outside lane for that rebound?
Orlando.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta. The Bulls looking for win number 68 tonight. Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan combining for just 8 points in the first half. Steve Kerr doing the damage from way outside. He had 14 to lead the Chicago attack in the first half. They were down by 1 after 1. Then they outscored Philadelphia 29-16 in the second quarter to take a 49-37 halftime lead. Looking for win number 68 on the year. That's the story from the United Center. Now let's go back to that tandem we affectionately know as Hubie and the Blowfish, guys.
Ow. Hubie and the Blowfish. Was that Had to be intended for me. We're back 4:37 to go in the third quarter. Here's that last play. Orlando on a 6-0 run.
Yeah, this is a great hustle by Penny Hardaway. He's 6th in the league in steals. Made it happen. Ends up with a bad shot. But how about this? Dennis Scott hustling in the outside lane. Gets it, puts it right back in.
Dennis Scott has 12 points. 9-1. The Magic's outscored Indiana the last 2 minutes. And it was just when I was talking about the game we did with 10 days ago with the Lakers when the Magic, and they've been struggling lately, no two ways about it, but here it looks as though they are drawing on the crowd and drawing on some energy that we didn't see in the Lakers game.
Well, they need it here tonight, mainly because they lost to the Lakers, then to the Boston Celtics, then to Chicago, all in this building. They went from 35-0 to 35-3. They need an energy shot in the arm, and they need a confidence builder here.
To within 6 of Indiana with 4.5 to go in the third. McKee looking for his game. Anderson defending Miller. That's a great matchup.
Good pressure that time by Nick Anderson.
Dale Davis continues the strong rebounding. He has 14. Miller from Davis.
Oh, my.
Reggie Miller has 6 threes in this game after starting very slowly. Started off the night 1 for 4 from the floor.
I hope he was clapping for himself because that was a great bust of energy from the top of the circle to the wing to get that ball.
Oh, he was.
Now Jackson gets called for fronting Hardaway inside. And just keep an eye on this. Is a bad pass right here. And then all of a sudden Reggie runs it down over there. Boom, send it home.
Way to go, Reggie.
Well, he has the feel.
Shaquille.
Oh, wow.
Power inside.
Wow.
Between the Davis boys.
Oh, he just jumped right in there. And let's face it, they should have given him 3 foul shots because 2 of them were hammering him that time.
Reggie Miller lightning quick on that drive. Look at the block by Anderson.
Yeah, that should be a
Jump ball.
ball.
That was a great block by Nick Anderson. Oh.
Excellent penetration by Miller. A terrific pass. And just watch the recovery here and the shot block by Nick Anderson. Oh, that's Nick has had 2 very impressive shot blocks here this evening. That's why you tell guys, now let's see, this is a great pass. He drops it off. You got to send that one down strong, super strong. He tried.
3:25 to go in the third period. 7-point Pacers lead. Miller driving past Royal, but Royal called for foul on the hold. First of all,
Reggie reads the baseline screens as well, if not better than anyone in this league. So if you cheat by double spacing, he will always fade to the corner on you. And then once he makes the catch, he takes you off the dribble to the basket. Now this is just a strong move. Watch how he splits the Davis boys. And he got hit maybe 3 or 4 times.
that was at least 3. Dwayne Farrell back into the game with his 3 fouls. Loose ball foul. Penny Hardaway.
Antonio Davis was right up in there on that one.
It's his first. A real rivalry's developed between Orlando and Indiana, going back to the first time Orlando made the playoffs and Indiana took them out 3-0. Then last year in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Orlando won big here against Indiana. Miller off balance. Well, he's never off balance.
I'll tell you what. See, he learned that one when he was 11 against Sherrill in the driveway. He just shot that one up over the top.
Well, they've both confirmed Sherrill regularly kicked his behind when they were that age. Which may have taught him that thing. Anderson, floater. O'Neal!
Yes.
Oh, baby.
Look out. They'll come running right back at you now. You got to get back quick. Find your man.
23 points, 10 boards for Shaquille tonight. Got 3 fouls early in the second quarter and set out most of it. He still has that. Miller, not this time. Look at the rebound by Davis. However, it's off him, and it'll be Orlando.
What I like
ball.
right now, Dale Davis and Antonio Davis are really hustling. This is a tough shot.
.25, 7 of 9 from beyond the arc.
spite of all this, Bob, they're only down 7.
Shaquille with 23 and 10 boards. Turn around on the baseline. Rebound, Dale Davis. That's 15 boards tonight for Dale. Antonio.
Set it up here.
Farrell.
He measured that one.
You could see it. He was all alone, took his time, and hit the jumper.
He's had a beautiful game tonight. Double-figure points. He's right at about 3 rebounds and 3 assists. He's having an excellent game.
He's playing with a coach who appreciates it, too.
Oh, absolutely. Mainly because he defends. If you defend, Larry Brown will find a way to get you in the game.
Shaw. That rebound, 16 for Davis.
Wow.
Workman. Good dish off on the side on the run down to Antonio Davis. And just like that, the Pacers are back out in front by 11.
Yeah.
After Orlando went on the run, the timeout really settled things down for the Pacers.
I think you look at the Chicago Bulls and everyone gets spoiled and everyone is a little bit down once you look at that basketball team. The difference between them and everybody else in this league is whether they're playing a good team or a bad team, home or away, night in and night out, they play the same. And that's hard to do, and you got to have a lot of respect for them. And that's something that we've had a tough time doing. We play against bad teams, whether it be home or away. Sometimes we don't get going until the second or third quarter, and you can't do that. I think the great teams start putting teams away from the beginning. So that's been part of our struggle, but by no means are we throwing in the towel. We feel we're as good, if not better, than anybody in this league, and we're certainly capable of winning this whole thing.
Tell by what Mark Jackson says, his experience and attitude's a big part of the Pacers.
Yeah, a major problem for this team has been, Bob, they're 12 and 11 in games of 6 points or less. But that's why we said they need everyone healthy up front, because when they have the low post game going, this is a terrific basketball team. But during February, March, and April, this team, 18 wins, 15 losses.
Too close to 500 for perfectionist Larry Brown. 83-72 Pacers by 11. Lob Hardaway wanted to tip it in, couldn't. Here is Workman on the run. It's 4-on-4 from 16 Haywood. Dale Davis comes away with that loose ball.
Look at the bodies on the floor.
Dale Davis.
3-4. We have 4 guys down, and you have to like what Antonio Davis and Dale Davis are doing.
17 boards for Dale Davis now. His career high's 22. You thought he might come out of this pile.
Now just keep an eye on inside here now. They are really shaking. This is a big game for them. They want to establish the series at 2-2, and the big fella Dale Davis is having a big night.
17 rebounds, 12 points, 6 of 8 from the floor. You talked about how Davis shoots up near 60% career from the floor.
But you know, over the summer, he had his shoulder operated on. So 2 summers now, he has had the right shoulder and the left shoulder operated on. He's a worker. This guy gets down into the trenches, does all the dirty work, and they rewarded him by giving him an outstanding contract. The only thing that he has trouble with is he set on the foul line. He's a 53% career shooter.
Inside to Antonio Davis, knocked away from him by Hardaway. 42 seconds to go in the period, 10 on the shot clock. Workman left alone. Hits the jumper. Dale Davis, by the way, now has 18. After the missed free throw, he got his own rebound.
Well, if Workman can knock in that jump shot, he's murdered, because he's an excellent defender. He pushes the ball. Very tough young man. But you notice Orlando not playing him. They'll give him the jump shot.
This is the biggest lead of the game for Indiana, with 7 on the shot clock. Donald Royal, that's what he does best. Foul before the shot.
Good shot block. That ball was never up over the rim. So what you're seeing now, Indiana with this group, they're fronting the low post people, and then they're jamming the passer. You say throw the lob. Well, you can't throw the lob because the defender on the passer is right in his face.
In case you noticed, there was somebody on the Indiana bench who looks a lot like Larry Brown. Looks like he's related even. Fellow there named Herb.
Herb Brown. Well, you know, Herb Brown is the older brother of Larry. He was in this league a long time, was a head coach at the Detroit Pistons. He was an assistant down in Houston, coached for many years in Italy and in Spain. and it's nice to see them reunited this year. And they've never worked together at the professional level.
Well, they probably get in fights. They're brothers.
Is that a requirement or what?
I think so. That's what it was. It's the case in my family. Pacers by 14, 10 seconds to go in the period. Jackson passed Hardaway. Then Hardaway recovered beautifully. Penny Hardaway. But Reggie Miller's been the story in this quarter. 15 points for Reggie in the quarter, 25 in the game, and by the way, has 6 three-pointers. Ready to begin the fourth quarter. You want stars? We have stars. Shaquille O'Neal opened up this ball game on fire, matched up one-on-one with Rick Smits. 14 points in the first period for Shaquille. Second quarter, though, Shaquille got in foul trouble, picked up his third. Then Rick Smits went to work. He had 11 in the period. What happened to Reggie Miller, you say? Well, just wait till the third. 15 for Reggie in the third quarter.
Well, the shooting at the end of 3, Indiana 52%, Orlando 48. The difference in the game with Indiana 7 for 13 in threes, Orlando only 3 of 13. Orlando has missed 9 foul shots in 3 quarters, and Indiana now has 16 offensive rebounds, the majority of which are by Dale Davis.
Both centers on the bench to start the fourth quarter. See the comparison so far, and it's pretty even Steven right now. Smits came back after O'Neal missed much of that second quarter, but Shaquille leading in rebounding and points, and they both start this period resting, both carrying 3 personal fouls.
Now, Orlando has got to show us some better defense right now, and they must take care of the defensive rebounding.
Trying to post up Hardaway. Farrell down there denying him the ball. 7 on the shot clock. 5. 2 on the shot clock. 1. Anderson, that'll count. Rebound Farrell.
Right now, Orlando very small, trying to get away once again with Scott and Anderson at your forward positions.
Dale Davis. Big game tonight for Dale. 18 boards to go with 14 points.
Dale he's having a great one.
7 of 9.
Yes, and I'm very happy for him. He's a very hard worker.
Shaw on the drive and the hand check.
Illegal defense.
Illegal defense before the hand check. It's against Indiana, and that'll be their second, thus a technical free throw.
You know, when Dale Davis was in the ACC at Clemson, he led that league in rebounding 3 years in a row. And Ralph Sampson, Mike Chiminski, and Dale Davis are the only 3 guys in history of the ACC to get 1,500 points, 200 rebounds, and 200 blocks. And now, you know, that's the kind of worker he is. He's not a kind of guy that you're going to be your first option, your second option, or even your third option. He is a worker off the glass.
Hardaway working for that shot. Paint the follow by David Vaughn.
I'll tell you, he's got talent, Bob. But, you know, in this league, it takes more than talent when you're playing with a playoff team that thinks they're going to win it all. You have got to be where you're supposed to be offensively on every set, and then you've got to understand defensive rotation. You cannot fall asleep.
240 and a live body.
Oh, yeah, he's got nice hands here.
Pierce.
Offense.
Yeah, got that shoulder dip.
Here's
a good look at David.
Yeah, keep an eye to the left of your screen here. Penny Hardaway really is not having a spectacular game. 1 up and in on the rebound. You know he has jumping ability.
Yeah, Penny has only 13 points in this game, as you know, average is 22.4. Hardaway has only 2 rebounds. Anderson went for the left-handed jam, but was fouled.
Now that was a perfect pass by Shaw. He did not try to pass the ball with his right hand. He gave a baseline bounce pass. The ball goes right through. Now keep an eye on it. See that baseline pass? Because the defender was on the inside. Beautiful pass by Scott.
Nick Anderson Simeon High School in Chicago. University of Illinois scores tonight. Boston scores 136 points, beating Toronto. Celtics, all they needed to do was get eliminated. And Washington, look at this. Washington now 38-39, and look out Miami and Charlotte. Washington playing well without George Mirasan. The Hawks came back to get the win on Milwaukee, 104-97. And Mookie Blaylock, as goes Mookie.
Well, Washington only one game on the loss side behind Charlotte and Miami.
George Mirasan hurt, be out the rest of the season. I don't know. He may get my vote for most improved player.
Well, he got my vote. The young man has really had a sensational year. I thought he should have won the award last year.
Good work by Derek McKee. He's kept it alive. 91-78 Pacers. McKee now 1 for 5 from the floor.
The big stat, 17 offensive rebounds, and we still have 9 minutes and 45 seconds to go. If you get 15 in this league, that is a ton.
Dennis Scott, the Rainbow, doesn't get the gold, but look who is finding a game tonight. David Vaughn.
Well, you look at that body, Bob. 6'9", 245. You know, he's a hunk.
Career high, 10 points. Stepped up here in the absence of Horace Grant and John Concat. Joe Wolf won't be back. Has a minor concussion when he was accidentally kicked in the head at mid-court and then hit his head on the floor. Talking about Joe Wolf. Shaquille back in with 3 personal fouls and 9:20 to go in the game. And Rick Smits also comes in.
Now Workman, who's on the foul line right now. Haywood was drafted in the 2nd round by Atlanta. He was a 49th pick in '89. Came out of Oral Roberts. He didn't make it. He played over in Italy for a couple of years. He played 6 games with Atlanta, 73 games with Washington, then over to Italy for 2 years, and then he found a home. A lot like Antonio Davis. Found his home here.
92-80, Pacers by 12. Their biggest lead has been 15.
Penny Hardaway has got to show us some of his magic here to get these guys back.
Oh! Shaw misses. Workman has Reggie Miller, who's backing the team out in front.
Nice.
McKee, also good unselfish play. And what a... Uh-oh, look out for Anthony Hardaway. He's down.
Yep, he got hurt. And also, Antonio Davis got popped right in the face.
Hardaway ankle. Shaquille says you cannot be hurt. Stand up and be okay. Looks like Antonio's okay.
Yeah, good timeout here. Now you're going to see this move. There's some great passing on this break. You can see right there, Antonio Davis was hit in the face, and to the right of your screen, there he goes. And
Mike Mathis.
Yeah.
Hit Mike's foot, it looked like.
There you go.
Tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. And I always love it when Rick Smits is playing from Eindhoven, Scotland, Holland.
Well, how much do they miss Grant? Royal and Wolf have not been able to answer up to Dale Davis. And then Rick Smits naturally having a big one. We'd like to show you the injury. Now keep an eye in the center of the screen. As Penny goes, they get it, and he comes down right there. He steps right on Mike Mathis's foot. And they're always the tough ones, Bob.
Craig Sager, you have any update on that? How's he?
Well, when Penny walked off, he told Brian Hill he was all right. He said the same thing to Lenny Courier, but Lenny was not so sure. After looking at Penny's ankle and touching several areas, the pain is on top of the ankle where you tie the shoe. Lenny told him if he has any question at all to go down the hall and walk it off to see how he is, but Penny said he feels fine.
You know,
as you can see right now, he's sitting.
Yeah, Craig, you know, once again, nobody said, how's Mike Mathis?
Well, plenty of time in this game. Little less than 9 minutes. Right now, Orlando's got to step up at the defensive end.
Smits against Shaquille. Staying with it, Antonio Davis down there.
Boy, the Davis boys are just murder on the offensive glass in the second half.
You know, we talked to Brian Hill today. He said we must get to the line and be successful, and we must get rebounds. And that hasn't happened. Thus, He's losing. Ooh, he misses. And the Magic in trouble here, down 14 with 8 minutes to go. The runner from Miller, not this time. Cooled down a little bit when he went to the bench. Shaquille to Brian Shaw. Sore wrist. Hit it anyway. That's a triple.
Well, I think you have to look at this and say, do we double team and open up the threes? They get back quicker if they shoot the threes, or do we allow O'Neal to go one-on-one with Smith? That's a big decision they have to make on that Indiana bench.
I'm looking at the stats tonight. If I'm Larry Brown, I see that Orlando's 4 of 15 from 3. That may influence my decision. Smith. Oh, look at that follow.
Now, that was close. See, that was close.
It
The
looked like it was right above it.
Because it was right above the rim. That's correct. And as long as it is above the cylinder, you're not allowed to touch the ball.
No whistle. They count the basket. Shaquille has it stripped away, but Antonio Davis was out of bounds. It will belong to Orlando. Let's watch and see if this was offensive basket interference.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Keep an eye on it now as it goes up. See, in my opinion, I don't know. That it might have been off, but it was so very close.
Well, you know, Mike Mathis is playing with that sore foot. So. Now, there's the rebounding total. As we told you, Brian Hill said, you know, rebounding and getting to the line so key to his team. Without Shaquille for much of the second quarter with foul trouble. Horace Grant suspended for the fight. Koncak out. Slight concussion to Joe Wolf. Bad pass.
2-on-1. Give it up. Nice. Beautiful, because the shot blocker was coming and thought that he would block the shot on the left side of that rim. And by Workman ducking under and bringing it up off the glass, that was beautiful.
Have a 20-second timeout as you look at the Indiana bench. Indiana, this is a big game tonight. They're playing like it is. For Orlando, Hubie, my take on Orlando is they're 7-3 in their last 10 games, but those 3 losses came in after losing to Los Angeles, and now they're about to look at another one here tonight. And I think you have to worry a little bit going into the playoffs with your team playing this way, despite the fact they're missing some players.
Now, they wanted to win 60 games, but they also wanted to stay ahead of the Western team, San Antonio. And here it is right here. This is just a beautiful move by Workman. Let's get back to the standings. And when you talk about the standings, Chicago's first, then you have Seattle second, then there's a drop-off from Seattle with 16 losses to Orlando with 20. Well, San Antonio only has 21. So you say, well, what's the big deal? Well, if you beat Chicago and you end up with San Antonio, naturally you want to have a better record. So that's what they cannot lose sight of.
Well, we know the coaching staff sees it. But in fairness, Orlando playing tonight without Grant, Joe Wolf, and Koncak. That's a lot of height out of the line. Out of bounds.
Now,
24 seconds, shot clock violation.
Derek McKee, with his long arms and 6'10" frame, knocked that ball away from Shaw, and the 24-second clock ran out.
Indiana by 15 with 6:43 to go. Pacers have won 3 in a row, looking for 4 after hitting a slump a couple of weeks ago. I think the Pacers are the only hope for a. There's that's a 27 points for Reggie Miller.
That was just beautiful. That's Reggie at his best. You know he's got the feel. Anytime he runs in the corners and shoots a 3 or that fadeaway at the top of the circle.
Oof. Shaquille follows. O'Neal has 25 tonight. Go with his 26.5 average. 5 dunks.
Right now, they're going for a baseline screen. Bring Smits to the ball.
Shaquille carrying the 3 fouls, the jump hook.
Oh, that's pretty. No, that was pretty, except he rolled it off of his elbow. That famous elbow shot we're seeing a lot of this year.
Yes, we are. Got a victory lap for it. Dropped also looked like a putt. And bringing up the Masters. Intended pass for David Vaughn is out of bounds.
Now, catch this fake by Smith. This is really a nice fake. He fakes and comes right back for that jump hook. Get the defender leaning and then step out. That was beautiful. That takes a lot of work to get the mechanics down so that it looks like it's easy.
Hardaway's back in after stepping on the foot of Mike Mathis and turning his ankle. Appears to be all right. Smits. Rebound, Antonio Davis.
Well, they just cannot stop them from getting the second and third attempts.
7 boards for Antonio, 18 for Dale, 25 between them. Traveling Reggie Miller. Was a good move, though.
On that play, Bob, I was surprised because Rick Smits came into the post. Reggie looked at him, and for some reason, Smits went away across the lane. That's why Reggie took his man one-on-one.
Extending the defense.
Now, Workman did a very good job while he was in there. 7 points, 5 assists.
Nick Anderson. And I would say that Nick Anderson is an underrated player, but on our telecasts he isn't because we always say that. Nick Anderson is a very major cog on this basketball.
Well, he's the first player from the first year of this franchise. He was drafted as a junior out of the University of Illinois. He's the only player that remains from year 1.
David Vaughn with his extended minutes tonight. Getting some rebounds and has a career high. And that lob from Dennis Scott to Shaquille O'Neal. Oh, baby.
I think that was unfair. It looked like he was on top of the backboard and dropped down. He was that high.
13-point Pacers lead with 4 minutes left. Be a heck of a comeback for Orlando if they can do it with all those players out of this game tonight. Foul on Orlando.
Well, that's smart. Run the clock. Go to your strength. Now keep an eye to the left of your screen. Smits is right there. That's over the top of a 7'4" guy. But they love to do that with Shaq when he's running hard.
Smits goes to the line, and Shaquille has a good pass by Dennis Scott. Shaquille picked up his 4th personal. Rare miss, Eindhoven, Holland. Rick Smits.
You just love the guy. The improvement on the Dutch national team. 3 years ago in his series with the New York Knicks, he averaged 27 points a game. Backed it up again by the next year in the series, getting over 25. The young man has really blossomed. And when you look at him, you say he tinkers with cars. He has 20 cars, 10 of which are show cars, and 10 of which, and well, what does he do? He's the tune-up man. His cousin is the body guy. He's the guy who shapes up there. But that's his thing. He tinkers with cars.
He got his start by having to move all the front seats back.
Yeah, right.
Scott on the drive, and the whistle from Mike Mathis. And it's on Workman, the personal. 103-89 now with 3:44 to go in the ball game. Inside the NBA comes up right after this ball game. A live interview with I don't know, the richest man I know, David Falk. Playoff preview. Ernie Johnson, Cheryl Miller will have that for you. David Falk will talk about Michael Jordan and free agents, and Michael is a free agent, as is Shaquille O'Neal.
Nice move by Shaq. Very difficult. He had 3 guys. One guy fronted him and went for the steal and missed it. 2 other people ran at him. That basket with the potential 3-point play forces Larry Brown to come back with Smits, Miller, and Mark Jackson. What you need now is smart, intelligent play. Run your clock, get high percentage shots, but you cannot stop working because there's still 3 minutes and 42 seconds to go.
In 28 minutes of play tonight, Shaquille with 29 points, but he's not hit the free throws.
Oh, big rebound. Big rebound.
Dennis Scott with the 3. It's a 9-point game with 3:34, and Scott has 3 triples here tonight.
Now this will be pressure right now for Indiana. They've got to really stay within the offense, run what's good, go strong. How's it travel?
3 seconds called instead of the travel. Same difference. You get the violation and the turnover, and here's Dennis. He hit the buzzer beater to beat this team last time.
Well, this is just a great move by Vaughn on that missed foul shot, and then a smart play by Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, Vaughn made a really nice bounce pass off the rebound. 10 points, 5 boards tonight for Vaughn. Really making an impression on his coaching staff. I'm sure they've not been happy with his play all year. Shaquille, the runner in the lane. It's a 7-point game.
You can't go wrong if you throw the ball to the big fella. The big fella's on fire.
31 at 39 against Cleveland just 2 nights ago. Orlando outscoring Indiana 7-0 in the last 1 minute, 47 to go.
Now this game has really changed in the last 2 minutes.
For which we're grateful. Mark Jackson missing. Smith's rebounding.
That's smart. Smart basketball. Playoff team. Take it out. You still got 2.5 minutes to go here, but you need a score.
Well, they get it to number 31, who probably launch it. For 3.
Missed.
Rebound for Vaughn again to Anderson. The rookie from Memphis has stepped up big in the absence of Grant and Konkak and Wolf. Jack with the miss, 103-96. 2 minutes to go in the game.
Look out, look out. I thought Mark had that. So did Mark. He thought he had it.
Vaughn with the block. 3 blocks in the game for David Vaughn. You're seeing what could be the debut of an excellent NBA player tonight, and that quieted the crowd. Rick Smits with 24 now and a 9-point lead. Back for Indiana with 1:43 remaining. Dennis Scott holds the new record for threes made in a season, breaking the John Starks mark. But he not only hits threes, he hits them in clutch time. Like February 21st, the last time these two teams met, Dennis Scott here. Look at this. Being defended right in his face. Bang, Dennis Scott. Then just moments ago here to pull his team to within 7 after the Vaughn rebound and the Hardaway pass. 3 triples tonight for Dennis, and it's right now a 9-point Pacers lead with 1:43 to go.
Well, Dennis, 42% for the season. He attempts 8 a night, averaging 17 points.
He's really having a terrific season, mainly because he's shooting a good percentage all the way around. He's taking the ball to the basket a lot more. Now, right now, in this last minute, 43 seconds, Indiana has 3 timeouts and a 20. Orlando only has 1 timeout, no 20.
Significant. With 1:43 to go, team foul situation. 2 team fouls, and they're inside the 2 minutes now, so it doesn't matter. We have 1 to give.
Now, if you're Indiana, do you double team Shaq, or do you just let him play head up and give up 2s? If you double team, you're opening up the 3-point shooting, and they get back faster.
Tough call.
Yeah, it's a tough call, but I think you have to have faith in here right now that you can bang Shaq around, and they have Antonio Davis on him right now. I would stay and hug the outside guys. Try not to give up the 3s.
As this team can shoot it. Here's Dennis Scott running off a curl. He doesn't get the ball. Hardaway does. They find Scott, but a foul underneath before the shot.
Oh, that was just a bad foul, mainly because Penny Hardaway was passing the ball, but now they take the ball as they have 1 to give. They take it on the side. Next one will be the penalty. So your shot clock was going down that time. You played great defense, and you had a chance for the 24-second clock to go off.
Now the new 24-second clock.
See, they're going to switch now on all ball crosses.
Dennis Scott comes open for the 3. Oh, that's 4 for him tonight, and we have a 6-point game with 1:20. That was a tough shot by Dennis Scott. Somebody right
This is a good matchup right here. Penny Hardaway, 6th in the league in steals. Cannot fall asleep with him.
Look out for Miller. McKee, who's been quiet.
And they need a big field goal right here.
Antonio Davis had to shoot that one over Shaq, and Dale Davis got the miss. 19 rebounds and drew the foul. But remember, he's a bad free throw shooter.
Now this is Dennis coming off the down screen. Antonio Davis was right there, right underneath him. Could have been a 4-point play.
All right, it's an adventure now. Dale Davis 0 for 2 from the line, goes there. He shoots less than 50%.
Oh,
hits.
baby.
100% on that one.
Oh, that's nice to see. He's a career 52% foul shooter, but you love it when he goes to the line because it goes with the rest of his night tonight.
47% on the season. 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3. And that'll go down. 2 out of 4. And it's a 107-99 game, and that was probably the difference in this game. 16 points, 19 boards for Dale Davis, just 3 short of his career high.
Well, they continue to run the stubble screen down on the baseline to the left to stagger. Main thing right now is just don't foul a three-point shooter.
Dennis Scott threw that one up with Antonio Davis right in his face. The crowd heading for the exit, and the Orlando Magic really slumping at home when they were undefeated until they lost to the Lakers, and the bubble really burst. And since then, losses at home to Chicago, to Boston,
L.A. and tonight. Tied 4 in a row here at home. They are now 35-4.
And Indiana and this team could very easily face each other in the second round. They both go past the first. They would, as standings are right now. And Reggie Miller with the free throw, and that gives a 9-point Pacers lead with 28 seconds to go.
Well, they'll finish the season 2-2, head-to-head this year. And for Indiana, this was major because it keeps them 3 games on the loss side ahead of the Knicks with 5 to play.
Yeah, tough for the Knicks to catch them there for the third spot. 29 for Miller tonight. 10-point lead for Indiana with 20, so it's all over. Offensive foul as Reggie Miller is knocked into the very expensive seat. See, that's not press row here at Orlando on this side, except for Hubie and me. Everybody else there pays big dollars to sit here.
Now, Orlando will be without Joe Wolf and Koncak in their next game on Sunday, but Horace Grant will be back. And now David Vaughn has shown that if he can demonstrate to his potential like he did here this evening, he's going to get major minutes here.
We have 19.3 left in the game. Indiana with the ball, and it's over. Eddie Johnson into the final seconds as the double team. And the foul with 9 seconds to go. So that's going to be all she wrote for Orlando. So they're not going to be so. You and I were coming in here 3 times in 3 Fridays. Brian Hill loved to see us in December. They're winning. Now I'm not so sure how welcome we'll be, Hubie. We've seen them lose twice in a row here. Look at the rebounding, 51-32, Indiana over Orlando.
Well, in that first quarter, Orlando pummeled Indiana. Shaq, 4 offensive rebounds, but he picks up his 3rd. The entire game changed right there. Rick Smits established his game, and then let's face it, the Davis boys in the second half have been all over the glass.
Dale, 20 rebounds, his season high, career high is 22. Keel with another jam, and that'll give him 33 points tonight. And that's the end of the ball game. The Indiana Pacers getting the win here today. 111-101. And speaking of Dale Davis, he's with Craig Sager.
Well, all night, Hubie Brown was talking about how the Davises stepped up, particularly Dale Davis. How did things change? What was the adjustment after that first quarter?
Well, we got off to a slow start, and the thing we try to do is just stay in the ball game, not let them get a big lead, and I thought we did a good job of that.
You've always been known as a hard worker, but last year was so painful to watch you with a dislocated shoulder. Twice you were hurt, but you kept playing. How is it this year? What's the difference?
Well, I feel a lot better. It's been bothering me at times, but hopefully I can stay healthy and help this team win.
What's the challenge of battling Shaq in there?
He's a tough customer. He's so big and strong. He's tough down there. Best thing you can do is just battle him as hard as possible.
With 4 straight wins, do you see that momentum picked up now for the Pacers that, yes, you can make a great run in the playoffs?
I definitely think so. We're playing better and we're playing harder, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Nobody played any harder than you did tonight. Great game.
Thanks.
Let's go back to Bob and Hubie.
All right, 111-101 Indiana with a big win tonight. Reggie Miller, the second best-looking, smartest of the Millers who are with TNT on television tonight. Your Cheryl, your sister in the studios with us tonight.
Awesome.
Being incredibly scrutinizing your game. But you gave
always.
You gave her nothing here.
As always.
Gave her nothing to get on your back.
She's probably my hardest critic as well as my family, so if things aren't going well, she's the first one to call up and say, you're going right too much. Try to take them left. Play better D. Go to the board. So this was a big win for us.
Yeah, I was just going to get to that. You're in third place in the seeding in the East ahead of the New York Knicks, but you played this game tonight, you and the rest of your teammates, like it was, in fact, very significant for you for several reasons, including you might end up playing this team in the playoffs in the second round.
Exactly. And we didn't have great success down here last year. And we wanted to instill in our heads that we can come down here and win in this tough arena. Teams have been coming in as of late and winning in here, and that's kind of gave us a little bit of a motivating factor in itself. But we've been playing well as of late, and every team that we're going to play for the remainder of this year is in the playoffs or looking to get into the playoffs. So every game is at that playoff type intensity. So we need to prepare ourselves for that.
Reg, now the first corner, very quiet, stayed away from the threes, and then what changed it where you just blossomed right out?
Well, in the first half, when Shaq had foul troubles, we knew we had the advantage in the middle, so our game plan was to go in the middle to Rick, and I think that's why Rick had the big first half. But in the second half, especially in the open court situation, I got a few looks at the three. They started to fall a little bit, and I knew I had Nick and Bowie and the other guys. Once I started to hit my threes, I knew I could drive around them. They were going to be pump faking, so I let my threes kind of set up my game tonight.
Reggie, there's not many things that impress Hubie Brown. He's seen it all. But your jump shooting does.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of
Reggie Miller, 29, 6 of 11 from beyond the arc tonight as Indiana ends 111-101. We'll be back to wrap it up from the arena right after this.